This conference will now be recorded.
Welcome you to the City Council regular meeting for April 5th.
The audio seems to be weak. I don't know if it's just my reception of it or are others having problems?
Is this better?
Yes, that's better.
Yes.
You know what? It helps if I turn my mic on.
Oh,
It was a mere whisper.
All righty then, let's start again. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the City Council regular meeting for the City of Warrenville for April 5th, 2021. And again, in accordance with Governor Pritzker's disaster proclamation and a determination by the mayor of the City of Warrenville, this meeting will be held virtually. As with all our meetings, persons wishing to provide public comment are strongly encouraged to submit written comments via email at info@warrenville.il.us by 5 p.m. the day of the meeting. And as usual, this meeting is being recorded. A reminder for all of you to reduce background noise that may prevent everyone from being able to hear the discussion. The city will mute all participants during the meeting except for the elected officials. All participants will be unmuted for the public comment portion of the meeting. May I have a roll call, please?
Mayor Brummel,
Here.
Alderman Anderson,
Here.
Alderman Ashauer,
Here.
Alderman Berry,
Here.
Alderman Davalos,
Here.
Alderman Goodman,
Here.
Alderman Krischel.
Here.
Alderman Widener,
Here.
Alderman Wilson,
Here.
Treasurer Brenner,
Here.
City Attorney Brooke Linneman,
Here.
City Administrator John Coakley,
Here.
Assistant City Administrator Christina White,
Here.
Police Chief Ray Turano,
Here.
Finance Director Kevin Dahlstrand,
Here.
Community and Economic Development Director Menzer,
Here.
Public Works Director Kukler.
Here.
Thank you, Emily. We'll now say the Pledge of Allegiance here at City Hall. I invite you to say it along with us at home. I pledge allegiance to the flag and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, before we get down to the business of the meeting this evening, we do have two public hearings to start things off. We will need a motion and a second and a roll call vote to open both of those public hearings. We'll begin with the public hearing to amend the City of Warrenville Electric Aggregation Plan of Governance and Operations. If I could have a motion, please.
Alderman Widener moves to go into a public hearing to amend the City of Warrenville Electric Aggregation Plan of Governance and Operations.
Second, Alderman Davalos.
Great, a motion and a second. May I have the roll call, please?
Alderman Berry,
Aye.
Alderman Widener,
Aye.
Alderman Krischel,
Aye.
Alderman Wilson,
Aye.
Alderman Ashauer,
Aye.
Alderman Goodman,
Aye.
Alderman Anderson,
Aye.
Alderman Davalos.
Aye.
Thank you again, Emily. We are now in public hearing mode. The discussion will be led off by Assistant City Administrator White. Good evening, Christina.
Good evening, and thank you. In October of 2020, the City Council directed the City Attorney to draft amendments to the Electric Power Aggregation Plan of Operation and Governance, allowing for an alternate aggregation model. A copy of the memo that I prepared for that meeting is included in the backup, as well as a new memo explaining the process and a copy of the revised Plan of Operation and Governance. This is the first of 2 public hearings. The next one will be on April 19th at 7 p.m. And the public hearing is the first step in the process to allow the city to consider both a flat rate electric aggregation program, which is the traditional program that has been adopted over the last few years, as well as an alternate aggregation program, which includes a rate match with ComEd, which has been commonly referred to as the alternate program in previous discussions. At this point, the council is not being asked to make any decisions about the future of the program or which type of program we will move forward with in October of 2021 when the current contract with Eligo expires for electric aggregation. This is just to modify the plan of operation and governance to allow the city to consider the 2 different plans. In this memo from me dated March 26th is a summary of the substantive changes to the plan of operation and governance. City Attorney Lenneman is also with us this evening, so if there are specific questions about the need to make these changes or the changes themselves, she can help answer those questions as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Christina. We will go to the Alderman first to see if there are any comments or questions, and then we will invite the public to participate also. Beginning with Alderman Ashauer. Anderson, I'm sorry. Alderman Anderson. I'm sorry, did he say no comment? Okay, thank you. Alderman Ashauer.
No comments or questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Berry.
No comments.
Thank you. Alderman Davalos.
No comment.
Thank you again. Alderman Goodman.
The changes seem very clear to me. Everything looks fine.
Thank you. Alderman Krischel.
No comment. Thanks.
Thank you. Alderman Widener.
No comments or questions. Thank you.
Thank you. And Alderman Wilson.
No comments.
Thank you. Do we have any email comments emailed in for the meeting? Is there anybody on the phone that would like to make a comment at this point? Okay, hearing none. Anyone present this evening for the meeting that would like to speak up? All right, very good. I guess we're in a position then to close the public hearing. Could I have a motion to close the public hearing, please?
Alderman Widener, motion to close the public hearing.
Second, Alderman Wilson.
Okay, take your pick, Emily.
Okay.
Good, we have a motion and a second. May I have a roll call, please?
Alderman Krischel,
Aye.
Alderman Wilson,
Aye.
Alderman Anderson,
Aye.
Alderman Berry,
Aye.
Alderman Goodman,
Aye.
Alderman Davalos,
Aye.
Alderman Widener,
Aye.
Alderman Ashauer.
Aye.
Thank you, Emily. We are back in regular session, and we have a need to go into public hearing mode yet again for the purpose of discussion of the FY 2022 budget. So if I could have a motion and a second to do that, please.
Alderman Goodman, I move we go into public hearing for the purposes of discussion of the fiscal year 2022 budget.
Second, Alderman Ashauer.
Thank you. Motion and a second. Again, we need a roll call.
Alderman Ashauer,
Aye.
Alderman Goodman,
Aye.
Alderman Widener,
Aye.
Alderman Anderson,
Aye.
Alderman Wilson,
Aye.
Alderman Berry,
Aye.
Alderman Davalos,
Aye.
Alderman Krischel.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries. We are in public hearing again to discuss the FY 2022 budget. The discussion will be led off by City Administrator Coakley. Good evening, John.
Thank you, Mayor. Just some quick comments. Just as a reminder, the fiscal 22 budget is nearly all funds combined, $24 million. It is the culmination of months and months of work. The staff starts putting together the budget projections and numbers back around October of each year. And there's also an enormous amount of work that's done by the finance department to pull all this together. Not even to mention the whole ERP overlap, dual budget systems this year. So much appreciation to everyone. As I said at the budget workshop, there's been a number of meetings. Just to let the public know that the council has had to review the budget. They received the budget document on March 1st, and we had a budget workshop 2 weeks after on a Saturday. I believe it was the 13th. On a Saturday morning, everyone got to go to a budget workshop and discuss budget items and revenues and expense projections. The budget is presented, in staff's opinion, is a very conservative estimate of revenues and a very realistic projection of expenses, with a few notable exceptions. I'll have Kevin comment on in just a moment. We believe that forecasts appear, economic things to appear to be on the rise, and the economy will likely be better revenues, for lack of a better word there, than what we're projecting. But this is a good conservative estimate of where we are. So with that, I will turn it over to Kevin.
Thank you,
Finance
John.
Director, Strand, welcome, Kevin.
Thank you, Mayor. Just wanted to note that at the back of the backup for item 7A is the change memo, which we annually provide. It details the changes that were made since the budget was first distributed back on March 1st. They're listed by fund with an explanation of why they were done as well. I will point out also that there are two significant things which are not in this budget. At this point, they are both unknowns. At this point, the first one is on the expenditure side, which is any settlement of the collective bargaining agreements, which are currently being worked on. Those are numbers which are completely unknown at this point, and as such have not been included on the expenditure side. On the revenue side, the thing that is not included in there is any revenue we will receive from the American Rescue Plan. It's approximately $1.63 million. Those numbers have not been finalized yet. The way to achieve those or receive those have not been finalized. And how they will be used and in which fund has not yet been determined. So that revenue is not included in here anywhere either at this time, but will be adjusted in the future. And we may come back to the City Council to do some budget amendments for certainly the expenditure side. And while we don't often do them on the revenue side of things, we may do it there as well, just to make sure that everyone is aware how that American Rescue Plan money will be utilized by the city.
Good, that's very important. Thank you. Anything to add, John, before we go to council?
No, just a note. I don't know if I said this or not. This was the most difficult budget that I put together, and I believe Kevin said as well. I've been in local government for about 35 years, and this was the most difficult and challenging, but it is here, and we are surviving a very difficult year all the way around, not just at our city. No, I have nothing else to comment on. Answer any.
And we, I think, to a person realize the complexity and the difficulty this time around, and all the moving parts that we somehow align to come up with numbers that we could move forward with. So it's very much appreciated, the effort of the finance department and the administration department also. Okay, we'll go through again the aldermen for any comments or questions, and then we'll talk. We'll invite the public to participate. First, Alderman Anderson.
I was curious, this Finance Director Dahlstrom, the hotel tax revenue increase of 244,000. Just what was the thought process behind that? Does some new data come in since the budget hearing that led us there?
Yes, Alderman, if you recall, we did point out that would be an adjustment that we would make between the time the budget went out on March 1st and when we held our budget meeting. Some new information had come to us that indicated that we would still have 6 hotels. When we prepared this originally, there was thought that we might be down to as few as 4. And so with those being in place, we bumped that back up to include revenue from all the hotels, and then also at about a 60%, between 60 and 70% recovery. So we took the original estimate and increased it to be more reflective of having all of the hotels operating.
Okay, I do recall that. Thank you. No other questions.
Thank you, Alderman. Alderman Ashour?
No comments or question. Thank you for all the great work.
Thank you. Alderman Berry?
Yes, also great work by everyone in finance and administration. I know this has been very difficult, and we've all been concerned about this all year long. So I just want to say thank you, and I have no other comments.
Thank you, Alderman. Alderman Davalos?
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I'd just like to reiterate what's already been said about my gratitude, actually for the whole staff, the police department. I mean, everybody had to work on this and inputted this and came to us and explained what was going on. I thought the budget meeting was very clear. I thought this was a very clear process. And to be perfectly frank, I thought it would be worse than this over the last over a year. I not only want to thank you for the budget process, but for the whole financial process and how conservative and creative and almost sacrificial departments have been, and the whole city. So while we're not back to where we were, I have great hope and optimism that we will get there sooner than later. And I think we've learned a lot as a city, and I'm just grateful for all the people in charge. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. Alderman Goodman?
Thank you. I have a few comments. I want to acknowledge the difficulty that staff and elected officials.
You're coming through very weakly, Alderman.
Is that better?
Much better. Thank you.
Sorry. I want to acknowledge the difficulty that staff and elected officials have had with the budget this year. I think in a regular year, the way that this budget looks would be a disaster. But Alderman Davalos is correct that this ended up not being as terrible as we thought. And one thing that has really helped as part of this process have been the finance director's regular updates about the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic on the city's financial picture. And I know that that was a great deal of work for him. And I think that that has helped frame the way that we thought about this so that these numbers didn't come as such of a shock that they otherwise would have been. And I think it has also helped shape our expectations. But I do want to emphasize that this is still, in some ways, a very dire budget. The use of fund balance that we're projecting is significant and was in the last fiscal year, 2020, that we have final numbers for as well. But the fact that we have fund balance to spend, the fact that we have done a good enough job with our past financial decisions to build up fund balance that we can spend in a rainy day is a credit to the people on this call and is a credit to the staff behind the scenes. We have made responsible decisions, sometimes very difficult decisions, to raise taxes for the CMRP over the years, to try and have long-term financial planning done as often as possible. And I think that this budget looks pretty bad right now, and it may not end up being as bad as it looks. And a large part of that is about the rescue plan money, which, as Finance Director Dahlstrand mentioned, is not included here. The number that he used was 1.6 million, and I want to clarify that just a little bit. We know that the payments in the law are going to be broken up into two. It should be 50% in the first tranche and second tranche 12 months later. So no matter what time we get that first amount of money, how long we do need to wait for it, we know only half of it will be in this fiscal year. So the 1.6 million is, I would say, not the right way to think about it. I think the largest impact we're really hoping for on this fiscal year is about half that, $800,000. So we just need to, even though the number in the paper that people have asked us about showed the amount that we're getting in rescue plan funds at 1.6 million. I just think we all need to reframe the way we talk about that and think about that a little bit. There should be 800,000 this year and 800,000 in the next fiscal year, or as much as that if all goes well. And those are my comments. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alderman. Alderman Crucial.
I have no comments, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, Alderman Widener.
Thank you, Mayor. I can't think of anything to add that hasn't already been said. Just appreciate everyone's effort on this and all the sacrifices that have been made, and the fact that there's been this strong effort to keep the city services up to par with what the citizens expect. So thank you all.
Thank you, Alderman. Alderman Wilson.
Just a thank you to Kevin and John and their staff for what they've done and gotten us to this point. I'm proud of what they've achieved, and they deserve a big hand of thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. We'll go to public comment at this point. Any email on this subject? Nothing. Very good. Anyone on the line, on the phone, who'd like to make a comment at this point or ask a question? Hearing none. Anyone present at City Council chambers here tonight with a question or comment? Okay. We now need then a motion to go out of public hearing and return to open session.
I move that we close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion and a second. May I have a roll call, please?
Alderman Berry,
Aye.
Alderman Goodman,
Aye.
Alderman Widener,
Aye.
Alderman Crucial,
Aye.
Alderman Anderson,
Aye.
Alderman Davalos,
Aye.
Alderman Ashour,
Aye.
Alderman Wilson.
Aye.
Motion carries. We're back in open session again, and we will carry on with the meeting. I have two proclamations this evening before we get into the business of the meeting. One is for Earth Day 2021. I'll read that one first. Whereas Earth Day is an opportunity to renew America's commitment to preserving and protecting the state of our environment through community service and responsible stewardship. And whereas the global theme for Earth Day 2021 is Restore Our Earth, which focuses on natural processes, emerging green technologies, and innovative thinking that can restore the world's ecosystems. And whereas on Earth Day, let's recognize the role that each of us can play to increase awareness about the importance of environmental education and spur progress towards global environmental and climate literacy. And whereas the city supports, through its Environmental Advisory Commission, development of educational and informational programs and materials that promote environmental awareness and behavior. And now, therefore, I, David L. Brummel, Mayor of the City of Warrenville, do hereby proclaim April 22nd, 2021 as Earth Day in the City of Warrenville, and encourage all citizens to learn about the ways they can improve the environment. The second proclamation is for Arbor Day. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas this holiday called Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. And whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world. And whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource, giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. Now, therefore, I, David L. Brummel, Mayor of the City of Warrenville, do hereby proclaim May 1st, 2021 as Arbor Day in the City of Warrenville. And I urge all citizens to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands and to attend the Arbor Day celebration at the Hubble Middle School parking lot on Saturday, May 1st, 2021, starting at 10 a.m. Further, I urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden the hearts and promote the well-being of present and future generations. Okay. We will now go to the part of our meeting that we entertain citizen comments. Do we have any email comments this evening? Is there anyone on the line that wishes to comment at this point? Okay, we have one person here at City Hall who signed up this evening, Mr. Bob Siebert.
Bob Siebert, Albright Court. On March 4th, I received a certified mail, and it had in it a description and notice of the March 18th public hearing. Some of the problems that occurred with that is the map that was enclosed and sent in on the original map that was sent to me 3 times because I own 3 properties there. There was writing and information on the back. This current one of March 4th is blank on the back. Also, the colorization, if you look at one of the original, it is very bright. It is blue, it is yellow, gold, whereas this one is a copy. When you take a copy of a print, the blues turn more bluish gray, the bright golds change. So the document was not the same as the original documents for the February 4th meeting. Within the document was the legal notice for March 18th, but it said legal notice, public hearing. It did not say continued public hearing from February 4th. Also, in this situation, I received, as I said before, 3 notices for each of the parcels that I own. However, the address that was sent to was different than the address that I received this at on March 4th. Also, there were some differences in the envelope within the return address of who this was sent from. So what I did, assuming that there were some concerns as to actually who sent this, and I went to the list of individual parcel owners that received the first notice and began to call the individuals to see if they received the same notice that I received. So far, I have not come across anyone that has received the same certified mail that I received. On March 18th, the date of the meeting, Chairman Tim Cosgrove stated it's a new public hearing. Vintage Luxury Homes representative asked, is this a new public meeting or is this a continued public meeting? Chairman Tim Cosgrove again said this was a new public hearing. Although everyone knew the March 18th public hearing was a continued meeting, and the preposition everyone applies to the Plan Commission members who voted on February 4th to continue the meeting, and the staff who was at both meetings. This group, no one questioned the statements. Unfortunately, this appears to be a failed cover-up of the February 4th meeting. Surely the citizens of Warrenville deserve better.
Thank you. Yes, sure. George, come on up.
Thank you, Mayor. George Wansum, 29W463 Amber Lane. Just wanted to voice my comments again, possibly reiterating what I've already said before regarding the property that's being developed, or not developed, but that's being discussed for development on Ferry east of River Road. That is now commercial property in a vacant parking lot. Well, I mean vacant now because there's no renter on some of the commercial land due to a number of reasons. This is commercial property that is in a prime location for 88 Winfield Road, just like the commercial property that is at 59 and Ferry Road. That is going to bring us more tax dollars. I feel we are jumping the gun and looking at this for any type of townhome development, when commercial real estate will do us better for taxes and the type of businesses that come in. It has been mentioned in the previous meetings that when other property, commercial property, went vacant, it was for a year or two, and then someone came in and took it. Why? Because it's prime land. It's prime for commercial development, not residential development. So it's a huge mistake, in my opinion. The other thing is that my wife and I and some other friends have been walking around the neighborhoods the past week and a half and talking to people and getting to know people, and kind of bringing up a point that's been brought up before, and that is that the public in Warrenville really do not know what is going on in our city since we don't have a paper anymore. Now, I understand a lot of people are internet savvy and can go on there and have some of the stuff downloaded to them or sent to them by their email addresses, like I do. But I'd say it's, 60, 70% of the people don't. And I just want to reiterate what has been mentioned before, not only by me, but other people, and that is we need to find a better way to get information into the public's hands so that they know what's going on in their city, so that they become a part of it. And, even before COVID, we hardly had any people come into these meetings or listening online. I look at the number of people that are online right now. It's all staff, and I know we have a lot of smart people that are, running our town and doing the best they can. But this is so important that the public, know what's going on in another way. Let's use our brain power to figure out another way to get information to the public. And the final comment is, every time a commercial property goes vacant, I'm sure we try to rent it out, get it leased out, etc. But we have to be patient. Those commercial people, those businesses, those big corporations are looking for this kind of land in this kind of a town, and so I really feel we are moving too fast, and we should wait. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Okay, we will now conclude citizens' comments, and this will be the last opportunity for public to comment at this meeting. And we'll move on to official and staff comments, beginning with the mayor. I have a few things to share this evening. The first one is about the COVID-19 vaccination. DuPage County Health Department continues to register and vaccinate people who live and work in DuPage County beginning April 12th. Everyone 16 years and older will be eligible for the vaccination. So that's a big change. To schedule an appointment and to learn more about the different vaccinations available, visit the health department's website at dupagehealth.org/COVID-19 vaccine. That's dupagehealth.org//COVID-19 vaccine. The opportunities for vaccination seem to be growing very quickly, and that's a very positive thing. You can also contact your primary care provider, your local pharmacy, or look up a vaccine provider at coronavirus.illinois.gov and select vaccine locations. So there are a lot of opportunities out there, but it'll probably work to follow up on them. And of course, everyone is encouraged to get their vaccination as soon as possible. For maybe the first time since I turned 70, I found a reason that being 70 is good, because being over 70 got my wife and I finally vaccinated. So that's a good thing for us. We're very appreciative of that. But it is important that we get as many people vaccinated as possible. So in the meantime, remember the 3 W's: wash your hands, wear facial coverings, and watch your distance. Those things are still important. In case you haven't been paying attention, is Consolidated Election Day tomorrow, April 6th. It is very important to vote, especially in local elections. Local elections have very far-reaching implications for your quality of life. The decisions made at the local level affect us probably more than a lot of the other decisions made at higher levels. It's an important part of a democracy to exercise that right. It is also, I would say, a duty. So please, if you haven't voted, do so tomorrow. It's important that we all, or as many people as possible, do that. And finally, we finally got the editing done on the State of the City address recently. It's available on Channel 10. You can also find it on YouTube. You can go to our website, and there are links there to take you to it, to give you, I guess, an executive summary of what happened last year and what we can expect in the coming year. I spent a considerable amount of time talking about economic development, singling out a lot of the major developments that we have going in town, and giving you some numbers as to what the long-term effects of those developments will be. They should be very, very positive. In a couple of cases, actually, when for the ones that are in the TIF, when the TIF ends, these things will be revenue generating far into the future for the city of Warrenville. So please tune in, watch that. It doesn't take too long, half hour or so. Again, take a look at what the property was worth before it was developed, what it's going to be worth afterwards, on which taxes will be paid, and how that's going to affect the city long-term in terms of actual dollars of what we can expect to come into the city coffers to help us do what we need to do. So again, State of the City address available on YouTube, on Channel 10. You can go directly to the website and take a link and get to it from there. And I wanted to thank the county for their help in putting that together. They helped us videotape it and edit it. They did a great job. They've been very helpful to us in the past. We went to them a while back and shared that we don't have the staff to do some of the things that we would like to do in terms of public outreach, and DuPage County has been very, very helpful. So I'd like to thank them for their help. That's all I have for this evening. Clerk?
Thank you, Mayor. I have 2 things. A family thing. I finally got to meet my great granddaughter. She's 7. I haven't seen them since last July, so we finally got together because I'm vaccinated. And one of the questions was, she goes back to school full time in September. And I said, Emma, what's going to happen when you go back? And she rolled her eyes and she said, wash your hands, wear your mask, keep your distance. Well, that's a good thing. She's totally brainwashed, which is a good thing. But 7 years old, going on, what, probably 17. The other comment is Warrenville in Bloom is again selling vegetables and herbs on Arbor Day, which is May the 1st, as the mayor said. We will be, hopefully when we get permission, we will be in the City Hall parking lot. And when you go through Arbor Day at Hubble Middle School, we will hand you the list of plants that we have for sale and ask you to come back over here to buy your plants. If you would like the list, we'll put it on Warren Mill and Bloom's Facebook page and website, and you can decide ahead of time. And you can even call us if you want to pre-order some. We would be glad to do that. One of our members is growing them, and as she said, her babies are growing faster than she can keep up with them. So we will have good stock type plants for you to buy on May the 1st. Thank you.
That's great, Emily. Thank you. Treasurer, Larry? Are you with us? Larry Brunner? Must be having some technical problems.
Are you there?
Yes, are you there?
Yeah, I was not muted, so I don't know what was going on. No, I have nothing to add. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Larry. We'll go through the aldermen again for any comments for this evening, beginning with Alderman Anderson.
No comments this evening.
Thank you. Alderman Ashauer.
No comments.
Very good. Alderman Berry.
I have no comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Davalos.
Yes, I'd just like to remind everybody, build on what City Clerk Larson said, that May 1st, the Environmental Advisory Commission is giving away free trees, free seedlings like we always do. It will be in the parking lot of Hubble, and it'll be very organized, and you'll receive a list of the trees available as you're waiting to go through the line. You can decide, and then there will be people there to help you get the tree. You don't have to get out of your car at all. So we just hope you want to come for free trees and then get them planted. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. Alderman Goodman.
I just want to second what the mayor said about tomorrow and Election Day. It's the last opportunity to vote for important offices like mayor and alderman. I know that it hasn't been so in the past, but these last couple of elections, we do have same-day voter registration available. So if you have not even registered to vote, you can still vote tomorrow. So please take advantage of that and make your voice heard. Choose to weigh in on very important local races up and down the ballot. The national elections get all of the attention, but I can speak from personal experience and say that your vote counts a lot more in municipal races. So thank you very much for voting.
Thank you, Alderman. Alderman Crucial.
No comments tonight. Thanks.
Okay, very good. Alderman Widener.
Thank you. No comments this evening.
Very good. And Alderman Wilson.
No comments other than get out and vote tomorrow. It's for sure important. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. We'll move on to staff. City Administrator.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple of things. 2 weeks ago, the staff gave an update on the ERP and the payment plan, and there was a lot of discussion about how that would work. What didn't really get acknowledged and almost gets lost in that whole long process is all the hard work it took to bring it to this point. It's a very important, long undertaking that helps. It's bringing the city along. It's not very exciting because it's all data systems and back processing. Now, some of our staff get excited, but the public doesn't, for good reason. But it's very important to bring us up to current times in terms of data systems, financial reporting, et cetera. We were keeping a lot of we had a financial software system. The rest of the things were in either spreadsheet format or kept in some separate type of software, or sometimes even in terms of permitting systems, we're still mostly in a paper-based system in this era. So it's extremely important. It has taken far longer. As you all know, it was going to be a year to year and a half process. It's about 3 years at this point. But I want to commend the city's leadership team. And I am not a part of that directly in this project. It is Christina White, Kevin Dahlstrom, and Leo Beltran. Now, there's many other staff that have contributed, but they have led this whole effort, kept it moving. got it back on schedule and on track many times. We can't say that it's on the original schedule because it is far longer, but they shepherded the whole process through, overcame many obstacles, and always protected the city's interests in everything that was going on. That's why you're seeing a repayment schedule a few weeks ago that was being discussed, because we had bills for those payments, but our staff dug in and said they would not be paying until we had the deliverables and in a format that we would have. It's become a more cooperative process. I don't mean to make it super adversarial, but it was difficult through that time, and those three folks kept it moving. So I want to make sure that that doesn't get overlooked. A couple of other comments on COVID to reiterate and reemphasize what the mayor's saying, but just some data. The COVID-19 positivity rate, we were doing so well in our region, which is Kane and DuPage counties. We were down in the, I think it was an upper 2% positivity rate a few weeks ago. It is now in the, let's see, what was it, the 8-point-something% as of yesterday. I haven't seen today's update yet. Now I went to the site, there's a Northwestern Medicine Feinberg School of Medicine site that I've sent to the council a number of times, where you can find Warrenville specific data for the 60555 area code. Sorry, zip code. Wow, zip code. And Warrenville is nearly at a 10% positivity rate. So we are not helping the whole situation here locally. It is very important that we try to get this trend back down. If it continues, it may be that new state restrictions will be ordered instead of getting towards, we're all looking forward to being open again, or the governor's new bridge to phase 5 where it's total reopening and we don't have to worry about all the restrictions and masks and all these things, but we're going the wrong direction right now. It's important. Mayor said it. Emily said it. Emily's, was it great granddaughter said it? Keep practicing the 3 W's. We're not done with that yet. We want to avoid a fourth surge in infections. We want to get back to reopening. We want to get back to the, I don't know, back to the new normal. We want to be in some state where we can go about freely and do what we want to do again. Go out to eat, have people that are fully employed, restaurants that are open, and revenues coming in for the businesses, for the government, for people who are working in their jobs again. So let's, I am as frustrated as anybody. I swore last summer if this went on another month, I was going to lose my mind, but here we are, a year and 2 months past when this really started to kick up in the area. Well over a year when things started to shut down in Illinois, and we're going to make it, but we've got to push a little further, a little longer. In terms of vaccines, I'm very privileged to, as government employees, we're allowed to be vaccinated, all government workers. So we were offered the opportunity. Our frontline employees a few weeks ago, about 4 or 5 weeks ago, everyone has had the opportunity here at the city to have a vaccine if they wish to. We did not force anyone, but many of our employees have. I was able to get the Johnson & Johnson vaccine more than 2 weeks ago now, and I'm very grateful. As I mentioned before, I've had my sleeve rolled up waiting for about 3 months, and as soon as I heard, I got in line and got that shot. It was not bad. There were very few side effects. I didn't feel like eating a whole lot for the part of a day, which is not a bad thing. And it was no worse than a flu vaccine, which I get every year. I would encourage everybody, as you've heard already, if you have an opportunity to get a vaccine, please do so. It's helping everyone. It will help us get to the new normal. It will help us to reopen. It will help business. It will help everyone. We don't want to get sick, which is the primary thing. We want people to be healthy and to not have serious hospitalization, or even worse, that people have passed away from this. So I will stop my preaching and thank you all.
Thank you, John. City Attorney Lenneman, Brooke?
No comment, Mayor.
Thank you. We'll move on then to the agenda for this evening. We need a motion to approve the agenda, please. Alderman Widener?
Thank you, Mayor. Motion to approve the agenda for the April 5th, 2021 City Council regular meeting.
Second, Alderman Davalos.
Motion and a second. Any changes to that agenda? Please speak up, identify yourself and speak up. Okay, we'll go ahead with it as presented then. We need to approve the, we have a roll call coming up first. Got to keep things in order, sorry. Roll
Okay.
call, please.
Okay. Alderman Davalos,
Aye.
Alderman Ashour,
Aye.
Alderman Chrisell,
Aye.
Alderman Widener,
Aye.
Alderman Wilson,
Aye.
Alderman Berry,
Aye.
Alderman Goodman,
Aye.
Alderman Anderson.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. The agenda is approved as presented for this evening. We also have several sets of minutes that need to be approved. Alderman Widener, would you like to make that motion?
Yes, thank you. I move to approve the minutes of the March 13th, 2021 budget workshop, to approve the minutes of the March 15th, 2021 city council regular meeting, to approve the minutes of the March 15th, 2021 city council closed session meeting, and finally to approve the minutes of the March 22nd, 2021 public safety and finance committee meeting.
Second, Alderman Wilson.
Okay, motion and a second. Again, any discussion or question or changes on those minutes, please identify yourself and speak up. Hearing none, we have another roll call, please.
Alderman Berry,
Aye.
Alderman Widener,
Aye.
Alderman Chrisell,
Aye.
Alderman Wilson,
Aye.
Alderman Ashour,
Aye.
Alderman Goodman,
Aye.
Alderman Anderson,
Aye.
Alderman Davalos.
Aye.
Motion carries. The minutes are approved as presented. Consent agenda for this evening, item 6A. Accept Mayor Brummel's recommendation and pass resolution R2021-18, extending the duration of the March 16th, 2020 declaration of emergency until the adjournment of the next regular, special, or emergency meeting of the City Council. B, accept Community Development Committee recommendation and pass resolution R2021-19, approving a contract with TPI Building Code Consultants Incorporated for building plan review, code enforcement, and inspection services. C, accept Community Development Committee recommendation and pass resolution R2021-20, approving a contract with Safe Built for building plan review, code enforcement, and inspection services. D, accept staff recommendation and pass resolution R2021-21, awarding the contract for the 2021 road program to Schroeder Asphalt Services of Huntley, Illinois, in the amount of $728,957.70. E, accept staff recommendation and pass resolution R2021-22, approving a contract with Engineering Resource Associates Incorporated for construction engineering services for the 2021 road program in the amount of $65,540.58 plus reimbursable expenses. F, accept Public Safety and Finance Committee recommendation and approve the revised milestone payment schedule for Mazik Global implementation work on the Enterprise Resource Planning Project. G, accept Public Safety and Finance Committee recommendation and approve an increase in the starting hourly rate for the Public Works seasonal laborer position to $13, effective April 5th, 2021, and direct staff to include the rate increases in upcoming budgets as outlined in staff's March 17th, 2021 memorandum. H, receive and file minutes of the Tourism and Arts Commission meeting held on December 17th, 2020. I, receive and file minutes of the Tourism and Arts Commission meeting held on January 14th, 2021. J, receive and file minutes of the Bicyclist and Pedestrian Advisory Commission meeting held on February 9th, 2021. K, receive and file minutes of the Inclusion, Diversity, Equity, and Awareness Commission meeting held on March 10th, 2021. L, receive and file minutes of the Plan Commission and Zoning Board of Appeals meeting held on March 18th, 2021. M, receive and file report of invoices paid up to March 31st, 2021, in the amount of $79,312.42. And N, authorize expenditures for invoices due on or before April 19th, 2021, in the amount of $293,875.41.
Motion to approve the agenda as presented by Mayor David Brummel.
Second.
Motion and a second. May I have roll call, please?
Alderman Chrisell,
Aye.
Alderman Wilson,
Aye.
Alderman Anderson,
Aye.
Alderman Berry,
Aye.
Alderman Goodman,
Aye.
Alderman Davalos,
Aye.
Alderman Widener,
Aye.
Alderman Ashour.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries and the agenda is approved as presented for this evening. The consent agenda, that is. We'll move on to the regular agenda. We have one item. Would someone like to make that motion first, please, before we move on?
Alderman Widener will move to offer the first reading of ordinance O 2021-09, adopting the City of Warrenville fiscal year 2022 budget.
Second.
Second by Alderman Wilson. Any discussion that you'd like to lead off, John, or is this an opportunity for questions?
That is correct.
Okay, we'll go to the council then and see if we have any questions on the presentation. Alderman Anderson first.
No questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Ashour.
No questions, thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Berry.
No questions. Thank you.
Alderman Davalos.
Just one quick question. This will be the final numbers for our final vote in a few weeks. Is that correct? That's a question, actually. Sorry.
Okay. City Administrator, you want to?
I will venture, and then Kevin, as always, will correct anything that I may be errant on. We believe this will be the final numbers. However, there's still an opportunity legally and by practice that there might be changes before the final approval next, in 2 weeks from now. If that's the case, or whatever the case, there will be the same memo that will be updated that's in your packet tonight to keep you apprised of those things. I don't foresee any additional changes. Kevin, if there's anything else, please chime in.
Kevin?
The only area we might see some changes if I'm able to revise any revenue estimates based on more current information than we've had so far. I'm not anticipating being able to do that for sure, but there is still that possibility.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Alderman, thank you. Alderman Goodman.
Yes, my only comments about the police pension fund. I know that this isn't one of the funds that we discussed a great deal, and that quite a lot of the changes in the value of the police pension fund assets have to do with the movement of the stock market and their investments and so on. But since the stock market has been doing so well lately, I mean, it was very pleasing to see that the ending net position is projected to grow by 16% in a given year. And even 7% compared to the projected 21 year for budget 22. So that's, I'm not going to say comforting exactly, but I think an encouraging sign and a positive sign. And I wondered if staff had any thoughts on the police pension fund, since it isn't something that we discuss very often.
Okay, good question. John? Kevin, would you like to comment?
Yeah, the fund itself has been doing fairly well despite everything that's been happening. We've had a very good pension board. The two members who were appointed by the mayor with your approval, Charles Schultz and Tim Wing, in addition to the elected members of the board, have done an exceptional job over the years. Has allowed this fund to be in the position it's in. Also, for a number of years, as you recall, we did contribute extra into that fund as well, which certainly helped the position of that overall fund. And it's also important to note that in the next probably 2 years or so, the consolidation of pension funds statewide will come into play here. And the local pension board will not be doing so much of the investing. Actually, won't be doing any of the investment advising and consulting like that. So I think this fund has done it exceptionally well so far. It's been well managed. I do want to say that one of the appointed members has recently resigned. So the mayor will be looking for a replacement for Tim Wing, who decided that it was time for him to step down from doing this. And the next meeting, Charles Schultz has actually agreed to be reappointed onto that pension board, which I think is fantastic. The experience those two gentlemen have brought has been absolutely invaluable. Thank you, Mayor.
Back to you, Alderman.
Thank you. I think those are very helpful comments. And since we will be moving to a consolidated form where we don't have these helpful people, necessarily for very much longer, I think it is a really great time to thank them for their work and to emphasize the importance of their efforts. So that's a very well taken point, Kevin. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. Alderman Chrisell.
Nothing for me. Thank you.
Very good. Alderman Widener
I have no comments. Thank you.
and Alderman Wilson.
No further comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Then we can have a roll call to offer this first reading and accept it. Alderman, excuse me, City Clerk Larson.
Alderman Ashour,
Aye.
Alderman Goodman,
Aye.
Alderman Widener,
Aye.
Alderman Anderson,
Aye.
Alderman Wilson,
Aye.
Alderman Berry,
Aye.
Alderman Davalos,
Aye.
Alderman Chrisell.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. That concludes the regular agenda for this evening. We have no items under unfinished business, nothing under new business, no need for a closed session. We do, however, need a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
Alderman Ashour, second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. May I have a roll call again, please?
Alderman Ashour,
Aye.
Alderman Berry,
Aye.
Alderman Anderson,
Aye.
Alderman Davalos,
Aye.
Alderman Goodman,
Aye.
Chrisell,
Aye.
Alderman Widener,
Aye.
Alderman Wilson.
Aye.
Thank you. We are adjourned for this evening. One final reminder, whether you are happy or you are unhappy, please exercise your right to vote tomorrow and be heard. I think it's very important. Good night, everyone. Thank you for your attention. We'll see you soon.
Aye.
Good night.
Good night.